The Kenyan Constitution refers to public land as land unalienated by the government, used or occupied by a state organ which no individual or community's ownership can be established. These lands include minerals and mineral oils, government forests, and even game reserves. Other lands in Kenya that fall into this category are water catchment areas, national parks, government animal sanctuaries, roads, rivers, lakes, other water bodies, the exclusive economic zones, and the seabeds. In Kenya, public land is held in trust for the people by the county government and administered on their behalf by the National Lands Commission.
We have the money, but the land to develop that facility, it was grabbed. For instance, here in Sigona Ward, people of Sigona Ward were given 3 million to construct a youth polytechnic, which was supposed to benefit the youths in Sigona Ward. But due to the fact that the land was taken away, the construction of the polytechnic died a natural death.
We discussed so many things, but I'll go with the main first three. I'll start by what we do when we go back. First, we say that we are going to communicate with our chiefs, MCAs, elderly people in our villages and communities, because according to the way Rally was telling us, most of the elderly people have informations.
Now it is for us to implement our plan. Thank you.
We are sensitized people on the importance of public land for our people in our sub-county. So that is very clear.
My name is Titus Kuria Mbogwa. I'm a project officer for land and housing at Groots Kenya. Groots Kenya is a network of women-led self-help groups and community-based organizations that are based in at least 15 counties of Kenya. The current project that we are running under the land and housing is developing a pilot project that is based in Lari sub-county, which is one of the 12 sub-counties in Kiambu County. Basically what we have done is we have worked together with the Lari community to identify, document and store the public land that is available within their community. The core objective of this project is to try to see if communities can participate in the development of an inventory of public land that is available within their community.
My name is Teresia Kimani. I'm from Lari Sub-County, Kijabe Ward. In Lari Sub-County, I'm a women leader. I lead a CBO called Lari Women for Integrated Development. As women, we realize there is great connection between public land and women, because this is the only land where we can access basic services. For example, if there is no dispensary near your place, you have to move for a long distance to seek for medical care. And sometimes maybe I am pregnant, already going to deliver. I may deliver on the way, which is very risky. I may die or my child may die. Still, if we can look at about the education, if there is no learning institution near your area, maybe you will waste a lot of time because you wake very early, escort your child to school 5 kilometers away. Then when you come back, you are tired, you will not be able to work. Maybe there is a donor want to bring a development institution in your area. If there is no public land, it will be shifted to another area, which will be, maybe it could have brought a lot of benefit to that area.
My name is Esther Mwaura Muiru, and I am the founder and the national coordinator of Groots Kenya. And our interface with LAD began in 2004. And it started by getting informed by the many grassroots women who work in this country, telling us they were worried by the magnitude and the extent of the disinheritance that was happening in this country. We designed a project on trying to support communities to ensure that they are curbing this disinheritance. And we organized what we call the community-led watchdog groups that are organized at the village level. They have a variety of stakeholders, but they are led by grassroots women, And the women who themselves have been disinherited have become very big force to these groups. And what they definitely do is preparing women, children, and even men on what are the things they should prepare for so that they can have a right and a possibility to claim rights to some of the properties, and land being one of them. We also realized that we were actually concentrating on one aspect of land, that we had forgotten another important part of the land that is called public land. We were only looking at private land. At this point, it's very good to say that in Kenya there are three main categories of of land in this, identified by the Constitution and the legal framework. One is the private land that individuals own. Secondly is the public land that is actually supposed to surface communities and people in a certain community, but it's only held in trust by the government for the people. The third category is the community land, where people jointly own land as a group.
For the 5 wards, each ward to go and look for the public lands that have been grabbed, and then we decided that they come, we sit together after each ward brings those lands.
What are you expecting to get? Because you can't just say we are going to identify, we are going to map and repossess. One thing you have to understand that the processing is not for us. The other thing you have to understand, you must do thorough awareness for everybody to understand why you are doing it and the importance and what the Constitution and the land policy says about public land.
Due to this, many people have decided even to surrender the public land. If you come to Rally, there are roads which have been opened. They had been encroached, you couldn't have passed it there, but now they are 21 feet. Because now people started to understand what is public land. How is it important to us?
If you look at the national land policy, and specifically Article 60, the government acknowledges that it does not have an inventory of public land, that the available public land in this country. So that in itself tells you the kind of situation that is around every community in this country, that the government cannot single out what land do we have to do development. So where does that leave us? So why Roots Kenya came up with this approach is to ensure that the institutional knowledge that is retained within communities, because for instance, the elders who live in that community are aware during the subdivision which parcels were demarcated to be public land, because as you have said, there is a process that is known very clearly of how public land was left aside. So first of all, that was our first source of information, the institutional knowledge among opinion leaders and village elders. Secondly, you also go to the communities and you realize that there are people who over time have been recognized as leaders in their community. These are the people you will find have been leading cooperatives, they have been leading projects. And due to that kind of position power that they had within their community, they were able to have custody of very, very important maps. For example, cadastral maps. So in the course of this work, it is very, very important to work with that group of people. Then thirdly, the community has information on what that public land was. The only challenge is everyone does not know what is, first of all, what was the original intended purpose of that land. Secondly, it has a conflict with the current use. So that is the only challenge I would say that is bound to face the community, any community that is interested in mapping its own public land.
So Gatudo South, how many cemeteries are there? So you don't know. Say I don't know. Okay? How many cemeteries are in your county? You're from which county? Sub-county?
What the government of Kenya has done is that it has established the National Land Commission, and because the National Land Commission has been established within a context where the country is doing devolution, and within the devolution, powers of the National Land Commission have been delegated to the county boards, and the county boards have the mandate to also manage and help the government to administer the public land. So we've been able to support the communities to be able to understand that while the county board will, on behalf of the National Commission, be able to administer and manage the land, it is the obligation of the community as per the constitution to safeguard the public land. You cannot safeguard public land if you actually don't have an inventory. So what Groots Kenya has done is to support the community to come with a possible model, a model that this country can use to take to any other constituency, because we have done it in one constituency, in Lali constituency. Kenya has 47 counties and it has 290 constituency. So the 289 constituency can actually use this Lali model to be able to map a public land in their own community.
What we can see about achievements, we can see there is now reduction of public land grabbing. And still, about the achievements, we can see that people are voluntarily surrendering the public land. And we can still also say that women have got now say in the society. They can make simple policies. And the other thing that we can say, like we started the public land mapping in Ladi sub-county, which have got 5 wards. We have other sub-counties in our county. Actually, in total of wards, we have got 60 wards. Now we have done 5. So we can lead the others to map the rest of the 55 counties. So I can say those are the achievements.
I think first of all, the single most important factor that has propelled the success of this project, if I would say, is the cooperation between the community and administrators or duty bearers, as you'd like to call them. And in this case, I mean them being able to work very closely with the chief, with their assistant chiefs, as well as the deputy county commissioner. That in itself, as an institution, has been a very important factor towards the success of this project. So under the guidance of the Deputy County Commissioner, Larry, and as well as the chiefs, because of course they work under authority.
I think first is to see this today, who is the rightful by the title, who is written as the owner of that title. Start from there. Because there are so many people who are saying, I've heard in this meeting people saying they have share certificates. Government does not give you share certificate. Probably it's an allotment letter. Then you have to ask, which is the authority that gave the allotment letter? Who owns that title? And then go and question, get the right information. Because once you do that, right now the person to go to is the National Land Commission. If you suspect that there is land that belongs to the public, but it is being used by a private individual, go and submit that to the National Land Commission. But I would also advise, don't rush. Try and do your homework. Engage these people. Engage your leaders. Engage the MCAs. Engage the county commissioners. Engage the ward administrators, so that you're not also rushing to the National Land Commission for things yourself you have not processed.